What's up, guys? In today's video, look what's off of the car. I wonder what's going on in its spot. Well, you're gonna find out in this video. We're actually going to do a test fit, and I'll give you a sneak peek. There it is. All right, that's in today's video. Does it clear the hood? That's the big question everybody wants to know. So we'll find out in this video. So let's get right to it. Okay, now for the magic moment we've all been waiting for. It's gonna close. Yes, it is. All right. So what I want to do today is, it's the next day. I did a little bit of blower maintenance and some prep items. But one of the things that I need to really figure out is chiefly, and my first concern is this blower going to work and clear under this hood? Is the whole reason why I actually went this route, and specifically with the CTSV lid. So I wanted to make sure that this thing's gonna work out. I know there's also issues with the wiper motor. A couple things that I need to really go through as I do this. Obviously, we need to take off the LS3 intake, and I'm gonna go ahead and pull it as a complete unit. I'm gonna leave the throttle body on. I'm gonna leave the injector rail on. Basically, I'm going to unplug the injector harness, unbolt it, remove the fuel connection, and the only other thing is the brake booster hose. But that's really it. So I'm going to lift that up as one unit. Then I'm going to go ahead and do a test fit with this. So that's what we're going to be working on now. So in order to pull this intake manifold, what I normally do is I pull the fuse. I've got a Racetronics harness on this that goes to a 4th gen tank for my fuel system. So in that, it actually has a fuse before it goes to the relay. So I actually just pop the cap off of that, which is right here, and then remove the fuse. I should be able to start it. It should burn the fuel that's in the system. And then the final thing I'll do is just make sure there's no more pressure with the relief valve here. I'll go ahead and just press that just to make sure there's nothing else in it. And then we should be all set. Go ahead and take off this cap with fuel pressure testing Schrader valve, and there's a little pin in that valve, and you just need to get like a small screwdriver or something to release the pressure. All right, guys, I'm just gonna bring in here real close and show you how to unclip these. That gray piece, you just slide that up. And from there, just slide it off there. And then you just squeeze. You can pop it up then push down on this, and that releases the little clip there. All right, so I'll go ahead and do the rest of these. I'll keep you guys right here, but I'll probably just kind of fast forward it because you don't need to see me do this in real time. All right guys, we're gonna go ahead, take off the bolts here and of the intake manifold. Oh, let me go ahead and take off the intake first, the air intake. Go ahead, there's that. All right guys, we're gonna go ahead and take off the bolts here now for the intake. All right guys, we got the intake off. Oh boy, there's a difference. Is this thing gonna fit? I don't know. I'm hoping the CTSV lid is gonna work. Oh man, I'm nervous. So I think I'm gonna reuse this throttle body instead of the LSA. It's a little bit bigger, it's a 90 millimeter. Here a little bit more, you can see right here, that's where the blower is hitting, and it still has, you can see right there, a couple inches to go maybe, so that's definitely not gonna work. I was hoping to luck out maybe just because it was a CTSV lid, but the blower base itself is the culprit, so we're gonna work on that. All right guys, since this is really a test fit, I'm not totally removing the wiper for now because it's still going to be about a month before this is really on. So I just kind of unbolted it, I moved it out of the way. I'm hoping that's going to be enough to clear it, so we're going to go ahead and try that and slide it back and see if we can get this thing seated, and we'll see how that goes. That's it, baby. Woo! Oh shit. What? Oh boy. It's nice and set. So I got the wiper motor out of the way just enough. Slid it back. Bam! It set right into place. So I got some of the wires sort of taped back to keep it out of the way. And I put the lid on. It's just sitting on it. Man, we get to see if this thing actually fits. This is gonna be crazy. Again, guys, this is just test fit. I'm gonna get this thing all set and some other things before it actually comes in here, because I wanna keep the car running and I wanna drive the car. There's a few local events and some other things I wanna do with the car. And if I go ahead and start this now with the blower, it's just gonna be down for a month or so. And so that's why it's a pretty quick swap between the intake and this. So that's why I woke up with some energy and I was like, bam. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and close this hood and see what we got. Man, I don't know. I mean, I'm looking at the brake reservoir. So if I line up the two fenders here, oh, I mean, the brake reservoir seems like it's higher. Get it down here, or just exactly. I think this lid is almost exactly the height of this. If that's the case, I don't know how this sort of plays into it, or if this was provisions for this in the hood. I don't think so, maybe. But the front, I feel pretty good about, because the CTSV is lower in the front. Oh, that looks good. Oh, I think we're gonna be okay, guys. Oh, I gotta move my looped heater hose here real quick. So let me do that. And that's gonna go actually right there. Oh. So that's kind of the way those are gonna look. Oh God, this is so badass. All right, let me figure out how to put you guys here so you can kind of see it in action. All right, guys, we'll go ahead and shut you in there. Hope it works out okay. All right, guys, we're gonna try it again. I got you at a different angle. So I was able to shut the hood. I think it's extremely close. So I came up with this little contraption, and I just want to see how flat the hood comes on over top of this. I think some silly putty or some type of thing like that would be perfect for something like this. I think people have used like gobs of grease, but I don't know. I saw this somewhere and I can't remember where, but I'm gonna try this idea and just see how flat the hood goes. Now my hood also sits a little low compared to the fenders, so we could actually adjust those stops up a little bit. Both these stops up a little bit. So it does close though, great news. I just wanna make sure I've got at least a 1/4 inch here. So that's kind of what I'm testing now. I think we're good though, but let's just try another test here while we got this thing on here. Wow, so this is really cool. This actually worked out great. So let me get you down here on a good angle. You can see here the rear of it has plenty of clearance, right? So normally the ZL1 lid is higher in the front, and you can tell that's why those don't work on this car. It has to be the CTSV lid in order to get these things to fit. The CTS lid is the opposite. It's taller in the back and shallower in the front. So that's why this thing works. Because you can see here, it flattened that aluminum foil right at the crest here. basically right at where that tape is. So I'll have to see on the hood where that is, but it is flat, but it's not like super flat. So I think we have some freaking room here, because that is about maybe even a ½ an inch right there. Now I did have to bolt this base down a little bit, so I used about 6 of the bolts and I bolted the base down because that did pull it down. So it will, if you just set it on there, it will set up quite a bit. So I went ahead and just checked, and now I didn't bolt the lid down. I don't think that's going to move much, but that might even give me just a little bit more. But you can see here, a little flat and hardly anything in the back. So let me test this again, because it will go down, you know. And the cool thing, this aluminum foil keeps its shape, so that's why it's such a really cool idea when you're trying to figure out clearance. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this again. So I think from here, basically right in here, that's the point where it's closest. But again, I'm just seeing, you know, we got plenty of clearance here. So let me just try it again, just to make sure the aluminum foil didn't like rebound back up, if you will. All right guys, I'm gonna bring in here again. So I did the test again, it looked good. So it definitely didn't smash it down all the way, so I think we're in good shape. Now I did want to show you one more trick. I went ahead and put a glob of grease on top of that, because that will identify exactly on the hood where the least amount of clearance is, in case I ever have to do something. I'll go ahead and shut the hood, and then we'll go ahead and see where this ends up on the hood. All right, so we did the test. So there's the grease. You can see it kind of, as it shut, it kind of smashed it and kind of pulled up a little bit. But there, and I think I have it pretty centered. Now's maybe to the left a little bit, but you can see right here in the hood, this probably bracing right here is probably the lowest point. So if something ever has to happen here, that is what's gonna have to go. Now I am getting the louvers for this, the functional louvers, and I'm having them custom made, so hopefully that won't protrude down past the hood. But that is going to be the lowest point. So now that I've kind of documented that, I know that really right here you can see that. And we could probably just do, when we do the louvers, I'm going to take the hood off, and maybe I can lightly BFH that. Well, not a big hammer, but maybe I could body hammer that in just a little bit, because you can see it is quite a bit of a gap there. And we can see if that would clear it even more. I think once we do that, this is going to be a beautiful thing. All right guys, I want to show you this a little bit closer up here. Get you that profile. You can see in the back, plenty of clearance, and that's where the highest part of the lid is, and that's why these work so great. It's the front that these things have issues with, and it's really, you can see once it gets past that brace, that underhood brace. But still, I mean, if you look at this, I could literally squeeze this even more. So I know I've got that amount of clearance. So guys, we are good, and I'm super excited. This is amazing, and this is one thing I was really worried about, is how this thing was going to line up. Whew. I can get a sigh of relief. And now, you know, this thing is on here. I almost don't want to take it back off. I almost just want to, like, let's push through it. But that remains to be seen. I am excited to see this thing on here. and that it fits, but we're gonna have to see. There's some other things that I want to do to kind of take it at the next level, so we'll see. Then kind of the final area that I just wanted to make sure we were good with was how the Dirty Dingo LSA conversion brackets aligned to the LSA pulley. And it looks like, and this is an 8-rib setup, so all the pulleys, the air conditioner, compressor, the power steering pulley, which is down there, even the alternator, everything is 8-rib. So hopefully, especially with the 245 smaller pulley here, get a little bit more boost. We won't have much slip. It's the Grip Tech. So, but if you look at it, and I've got the belts that come with the kit, but you can see there, man, it's perfect. So once we put the belt on, then you use the idler, and you move it over to the bracket here, and that's how you get a nice tension on it by adjusting it in those different slots. So that's kind of the idea around that. So that kind of checks off as well. So just kind of in summary, the biggest thing fits under the hood, amazing. The wiper is going to have to change to that Nissan, or I was also looking at the Detroit Speed, but I just want to make sure I can figure out, I want to use stock switches inside. I don't want any crazy switches, so that one may be not a candidate for a part for this car. And the belt, making sure the belt aligns, which, you know, just kind of eyeballing it, looks like it's right in track there, so that's great. Everything else seems to be fine. I've got clearance back there otherwise, and I've got, like I said, 4 to 6 bolts where I've got bolted the base on, so this is how it's gonna sit. That's the fuel line there. Obviously, I'm gonna have to have a longer one, but I'm gonna change this anyway, redo the fuel system. That's another day. So that's pretty much it, guys. I'm pretty excited about this, and thanks for watching the video, and please subscribe and leave a like, and as always, we'll see you on the next Fireball Mullet channel.